Okay, so for those of you who actually pay attention to what I have to say, uh, last week, sometime last week, I think I have completely changed my position on immigration. Uh, for years, I had this group. Uh, what was it called? I don't think it was called America First. No, it wasn't. Well, anyway, I had a nice little anti-immigration. It was all for not allowing people to immigrate into the United States until we're actually seriously trying to take care of the people who already live here. 40 million poor people or something like that, I forget. And so, I mean, it's complicated, right? You're like, well, let's take care of people here, and keep the immigrants out. And then you see things like all the rich people use immigrants as cheap labor. I mean, when I lived in Texas, everybody had a maid, and they were a Mexican illegal or recent immigrant, or maybe they were even Mexican American, but most of them didn't speak English. So I've got to think most of them weren't there very long, and probably weren't particularly legal. And so part of my idea was that, well, if we stopped allowing illegals in, we'd hurt the rich people a little more, because they wouldn't have their cheap labor, right? And then maybe they'd be able to, or be forced to hire and pay higher wages, right? Stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of things going on there. But the main point was that I wanted to put pressure on rich people to start doing something about poverty. But last week, and for years, I've been figuring this out, actually. And I guess I did figure it out a long time ago, but I just didn't realize how serious the problem was, and that's that rich people don't plan on ever taking care of the poor. As a matter of fact, they're seeing how far they can push it, how far they can push America, into poverty, into low income, into shitty life. I was going to say lifestyle, but so, I mean, having millions of poor people is part of their plan, and then piling in illegals on top of them to even put more pressure on them is part of their plan. So they have there's not going to be any amount of there's not going to be any it's not going to do any good to try and keep illegals, and they'll make sure they get in. I mean, they're pretending like they want to keep them out. They're lying, they're cheating, they're full of shit, right? So, I mean, and the people below them, the poor white people, they can't believe that the rich people would be that much of a bunch of assholes, right? Well, they are. They are. They're playing you, man. They're playing you. You know, and they're holding you hostage, and they're holding poor people hostage to this idea that we need to take care of them first. They're never going to take care of you. Never. God, you're such a bunch of suckers. It's pathetic. It really is. So I changed my stance last week. I said, "Fuck it, man. If they're gonna play that game, then we'll just bring in as many illegals as we can and make them American citizens, and because they'll be Democrats, right? They'll be on our side. I mean, it's not like the rich are gonna buy them off too. So you know, screw it. We'll just do that now. That's what." That's what this segment's in. I forget this guy, Make Crapper, Rake Dapper, something like that. I can't remember his name, sorry. And he's an ugly motherfucker, and I just can't stand looking at his face. So I'll turn this on and
keeping the border safe, but in terms of how they do
we'll
their
go
job,
here where we
what
can
their
see.
mandate is and how it's executed, is that something you'd be open to reviewing?
I have strong libertarian instincts, and any government entity needs proper oversight, supervision, and direction. But that's not what some of the extremists in the progressive movement are doing. They are demonizing the thousands of decent ICE officers that are trying to enforce.
Now, I'm sorry, progressives? Who are you talking about here? Because if you're talking about her, she's not a progressive. And that's who they're talking about. So they're calling her a progressive, and she's an idiot, and she doesn't know how to do anything. She should have never been elected. How much money does she get? $2.2474 million from the law firms. I mean, she's not even close to progressive. Look at all this, 21 million, 19 million. It's just, how do you call somebody who gets that much money? Look at these companies. Universities, 21st Century Fox. So they're calling her a progressive. CNN is calling her a progressive, and then saying that she's an asshole. So first they lie by saying she's a progressive, and then I don't know whether she's an asshole or not. All she's doing is comparing ICE to the KKK. Isn't ICE a lot like the KKK, just a legal version of it? I mean, haven't they been getting caught doing all kinds of shit, like putting kids in cages and keeping them in office buildings where there's no bathrooms and just all kinds of stupid shit? I mean, I'm not saying that there's an equivalency there to the KKK and ICE, but this guy.
Our laws, including Senator.
I mean, there's no way that you can be a black guy and not have compassion for your fellow minorities. I mean, what are you, stupid or something? Oh, they're paying you a whole shitload of money. And you're saying to yourself, man, I'm black and I'm screwed. I'm pretty ugly too. So it's not like I have a future in this country, except for if I sell out my own people and everybody else around me. Jesus Christ. Money, 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 money. That's all people, that's their only motivation in life anymore. Money, 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 money. We not only have to get money out of politics, but we have to get money out of morals and ethics and everything else. Because we're in trouble, people. We're in trouble when minorities start turning on each other to fight over what little there is. We know that something has to be done. Look at this.
Mom's kicking them all out and they don't like it now.
My little brother, he took off. I don't know where he's at. He's supposed to be, I don't know. My sister, I went in there and put a chain on it, keep them all out of it, and then this is what we get to it.
Yeah.
I take the doorknob out and I run a chain all the way around it. I had the key to it.
So, I mean, this is what happens. You see, I'm being persecuted right now because I care about people. But this is the kind of stuff that happens. In this family, the mom owns 2 houses on this hill, and she kicked everybody in her family out of the one. And my guess is they went next door. Because, see, this house is burning and this house just caught on fire on the sides. But my guess is they were in this one. They didn't set it on fire. They were trying to stay warm because it was cold. So they probably started a fire. I mean, can you imagine? She had one son, older son, the guy who was talking, come up and try and keep them from being able to get into this house. And both of them are empty. So mom's living somewhere else. And who knows what's going on. But anyway, all I'm trying to say is desperation and turmoil leads to tragedy and death and pain and suffering and misery and again, desperation. I mean, so while you can't say, well, so-and-so died because there's no such thing as a welfare system. So-and-so got kicked out of their house, like this bunch of kids got kicked out of their house. Who knows what the fuck? Why are you kicking kids out of an empty house? Huh? What the hell's going on there? So, and let's say that somebody had burned to death, which I'm sure happens. So, the government and the police and everybody, they don't link together extreme poverty, fear and all that, and death, and a death happens, right? They don't put 2 and 2 together. It doesn't end up on some statistic about how capitalism kills people, but it does. And it does all the time. Thousands and thousands of people a year, I'm sure. Probably more than that, probably tens of thousands die because of capitalism. When somebody shoots somebody else, they don't say, well, was there an economic reason? Yeah, they don't say that. Anyway, CNN, you're a bunch of fuck-ups. I mean, you're purposely trying to hurt progressives in this segment, and you need to stop it. You're just pieces of shit. You really are. And to do that, and to use an establishment Democrat and label her as a progressive simply to try to make progressives look bad, that's really one of the most disgusting things I've seen this week out of you guys, you establishment Democrats. And honestly, I've just had enough of you. I wish we get rid of all of you. You know, if I could blink you off the face of the planet like Genie, I probably would, because honestly, I think you're doing so much damage, you probably would deserve it. You know, if I could blink you to Alpha Centauri, some nice little planet there, or something, anything, just to get rid of you. Alright. Well, that's it for this segment for Democratic Party Headquarters News, or as I've renamed it, Progressive Democrat. But you know, we're the Democrats. We're the real Democrats, so let's not play that game.